Newlyweds William and Kate are celebrating their wedding with close family and friends. It follows a day of marital magic, which all began at Westminster Abbey about 10 hours ago. Almost 1 million people thronged the streets of London to join the celebration, while countless more watched on television around the world. Tonight's comprehensive coverage begins with our royal correspondent, Nicholas Witchell.
On a day when the British monarchy looked to the future, the most poignant echo from the past. 30 years after a newly married Diana Spencer stood on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, her beloved elder son William brought his bride to greet the waiting crowds. No one talks of fairy tales at a royal wedding anymore. There's been too much pain in this family for that. But this was a day when a young woman was taken to many people's hearts. She'd emerged carefully from the hotel where she'd been staying, giving the world its first glimpse of that oh-so-secret dress, an outfit of lace and silk. Accompanied by her father, she was driven through streets more packed than they have been for a royal wedding for a good many years. At Westminster Abbey, her husband-to-be was waiting. He'd sprung his own surprise. He was dressed not in the uniform of the RAF in which he serves, but as a colonel of the Irish Guards. The bride showed not a flicker of nerves when she arrived. She stood inside the great west door of the Abbey. Her dress was adjusted. She took a deep breath, and then it began. She walked the 100 yards of red carpet on the arm of her father. Perhaps he couldn't entirely hide the emotions of a father giving away his daughter in marriage. The bride, though, was nothing but composure itself. At the altar, Harry, brother and best man, was offering reassurance. William preferred compliments. "You look beautiful," he said, as Kate took her place beside him.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here in the sight of God and in the face of this congregation to join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony.
The marriage ceremony was performed by the Archbishop of Canterbury.
I, William Arthur Philip Louis.
I, William Arthur Philip Louis.
Take thee, Catherine Elizabeth.
Take thee, Catherine Elizabeth.
To my wedded wife.
To my wedded wife.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
For better, for worse.
For better, for worse.
For richer, for poorer.
For richer, for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
Till death us do part.
Till death us do part.
According to God's holy law.
According to God's holy law.
And thereto I give thee my troth.
And thereto I give thee my troth.
I, Catherine Elizabeth.
I, Catherine Elizabeth.
Take thee, William Arthur Philip Louis.
Take thee, William Arthur Philip Louis.
To my wedded husband.
To my wedded husband.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
For better, for worse.
For better, for worse.
For richer, for poorer.
For richer, for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
Till death us do part.
Till death us do part.
According to God's holy law.
According to God's holy law.
And thereto I give thee my troth.
And thereto I give thee my troth.
There was one moment of anxiety. The ring appeared to be too small. William persevered, and on it went.
With this ring,
A moment later, the couple knelt by the high altar, and the Archbishop pronounced them married.
I pronounce that they be man and wife together In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost.
Within the Abbey, the cheers of the crowds outside could clearly be heard. Catherine Middleton smiled briefly. But of course, from that moment, she was no longer Catherine Middleton. The Queen had opted for tradition and made William the Duke of Cambridge. And so she joins the royal family as Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cambridge. The marriage register signed, Prince William and his wife, the Duchess of Cambridge, went forward to pay their respects to the Queen, before making their way from the Abbey to the coronation anthem, Crown Imperial. And with the formalities over, it was a chance for some of the other principal players, best man and maid of honour, father of the groom and mother of the bride, to exchange views on how it had all gone. That's certainly something all the guests will have been discussing as they took their tales of the wedding home with them. For William and Catherine, though, it was time to face the wider world. Again, there was a slight pause and a deep breath, and they were out to face the waiting crowds for the ceremonial carriage ride back to Buckingham Palace. This was what hundreds of thousands of people had been waiting for. Many of them had camped out overnight. Mercifully, the weather had stayed dry. Finally, here was what they'd come to see, William and Catherine together. The Queen's verdict? It was amazing, she said, as she returned to the palace. The crowds were allowed to fill the Mall in preparation for what had to come next. No royal wedding such as this could possibly be complete without an appearance on the palace balcony. And no balcony appearance by royal newlyweds is permissible without a kiss. She seemed game, he a little less certain, but after encouragement from below, it happened again. Inside the Abbey earlier and now at the palace. You would have to be very cynical, I think, not to be struck by that sense of hope, both for the couple and for the institution, which, for all its ups and downs, remains at the core of British life. In the skies above, there was a fly past, led by the aircraft of the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. Then, after a lunchtime reception for 650 guests, William and Catherine reappeared. It almost had the appearance of ordinary newlyweds, apart from the fact that the car was Prince Charles's Aston Martin, and the journey was just a short skip from Buckingham Palace to Clarence House. Oh, and there was also an RAF search and rescue helicopter overhead. Yes, William and Catherine have finally tied the knot, a day of happiness for them, and a sure foundation for the future of the British monarchy. Nicholas Witchell, BBC News, at Buckingham Palace.
That little moment of modernity there. Well, among the 2,000 guests who attended today's ceremony inside Westminster Abbey was Don McKinnon. He's the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth. He joins me now. Don, of course, they and 300 friends or so are inside there now, dancing away, we understand, with a disco ball in the throne room. Lord knows what the Queen is making of all of that. But you were at the much more solemn occasion inside Westminster Abbey.
That's right.
Go on, I'm jealous. Tell me what it was like.
Well, it was wonderful. And really, you know, there were, as you say, nearly 2,000 people in the Abbey. And you could just tell that when the royal couple came in, when the Queen and the Duke came in, there was a real feeling of warmth going out to them. You know, people thought this is going to be a great day. We just really want to help them make it a really better day.
Because sometimes those big, formal, very traditional occasions, and of course it is an occasion steeped in centuries of tradition, can be almost a little bit cold, can't they? But they seem to manage to preserve some sense of it being a personal occasion as well.
Well, you had both. You had, as you said, the ancient monarchy, which goes back a long, long way, and a couple that really sort of, they're part of the celebrity fervour of this country, as well as part of the monarchy, as well as part of the politics of the country. So it was all mixed up together, and you just had a couple that really warmed to the people and the people warmed to them.
And you know what, being in London this week, it struck me that of course it's not just Brits who have turned out to watch this, but I've really been amazed by people from all over the world who have come. Of course, you were Secretary General of the Commonwealth. When Catherine and William become Queen and King of Britain, they're also going to be the monarchs of the Commonwealth as well. Big role.
Well, it is, and one would have to say, now the wedding's over, one hopes that they can have a few years of absolute peace, because there's a huge job there. And, you know, I'm never forgetful of the fact that the Queen said that her best years were those few years before she ascended to the throne, married, enjoying married life, and one hopes that, you know, this couple can get the same kind of treatment.
Brits always talk about the fact that we're part of a declined, if not, you know, declining empire. I was wondering, does it still matter to people in the Commonwealth to have Kate and William?
Well, I mean, this is something very exciting, and after all, we live in a pretty sort of bad news world these days, so when something like this comes along, really everyone likes it, they love it, they want to be part of it. But everyone in the Commonwealth, no matter what country they're in, they see the Commonwealth differently, they see the monarchy differently. And the fact that the monarchy can spread itself across 54 countries and be relevant, and the Commonwealth remain relevant, it's a constant challenge. And that's what people like me are charged to do year after year, keep it relevant.
Certainly seemed relevant today. Don McKinnon, thank you very much for joining us, and I'm glad you had a good day there in Westminster Abbey. Now, much more about the critical element of today, that dress. After months of speculation about what Kate Middleton would wear to her wedding, the mystery was solved when she stepped into her limousine this morning in an ivory gown by Sarah Burton, the head designer at Alexander McQueen. In Miss Burton's words, the whole experience had been an incredible honour. Our culture correspondent David Sillito has more on the dress.
It was the moment the secret was out. The handmade Hampton Court lace, the ivory and white satin, the fitted silhouette, the inspiration, an opening flower. For many, today was all about the dress.
Oh, it couldn't have been more perfect. It was very classic, very like Grace Kelly, very simple elegance.
When she was walking down, it looked as if it was floating in midair.
And briefly, seen adjusting the train here, we saw the designer, Sarah Burton, the woman who now leads the Alexander McQueen fashion house. The inspiration? Well, have a look at this. Another middle-class girl who became a princess.
When Grace Kelly will become the bride of Rainier, Prince of Monaco.
As soon as you look at her, you can in actual fact see styling from Grace Kelly. You could see it completely, that wonderful style of the high neck, the long sleeve. It was a total breathtaker.
It wasn't just McQueen. This was, for a host of British designers, an extraordinary global advert. And as soon as the dress appeared, sketching began. Susie Briggs will have hers in the shops by Tuesday. This dress will travel far. David Sillito, BBC News.
Now, I'm told that some people say the wedding dress was too plain. I thought it was absolutely stunning. And as if that wasn't beautiful enough, we have just had pictures of what Kate Middleton is wearing tonight at her party. It is also by Sarah Burton from the House of Alexander McQueen. Beautiful, long satin dress with that trademark Alexander McQueen silver diamante belt and that little white shrug that she's wearing over her shoulders. Another stunning outfit that she's wearing today. Well, I'll be back in a few minutes with more from London, more of the fashion, I hope, Matt. Now back to Matt Fry in Washington for the rest of the day's news. Matt.
Thanks, Katie. What a day to remember. What a night to remember. Now, on a much more somber note, today President Obama visited the storm-ravaged state of Alabama, just days after a string of tornadoes ripped through the region, killing nearly 320 people. Saying that he'd never seen devastation like this, the president vowed to help those who